Hi everybody, welcome back to Bethenaeum. My name's Ellie Marie and today I have 5 tips for you to help you start writing every day. Alright, so NaNoWriMo has begun, and those of you who are participating are hopefully in the thick of it and getting your word counts up there. So to encourage those of you who are a part of that, and to encourage those of you who are looking to write a little bit every day and just incorporate writing into a part of their everyday routine, I have 5 tips that I'm going to share with you that will help you get your novel completed, or whatever work you're working on. It doesn't have to be a novel. It could be just keeping a personal journal or practicing a certain writing style so that you can get better at it. It's whatever's up to you. This just happens to be within the context of NaNoWriMo, so I use novels a lot as an example. So let's go ahead and dive right into those examples and see what we can find. Tip number 1 to introduce writing into your everyday routine is to schedule a time. You need to schedule a time for writing just like you schedule a time for everything else. You schedule a time for every routine that you have in your life, for eating, for getting ready for bed, for getting ready in the morning, for going to work, for coming home to work, all of those routines. And chances are, even if you have a regular job, that you have routines at that job as well. Things that you do regularly every day or a couple times a week that are part of what you do. And so writing, if you really want to get it done every day and you really want to practice it every day, needs to be scheduled. It needs to become a routine for you, and it needs to become a part of your schedule. Now, whatever that schedule looks like for you is unique. It could be in the morning you find is your best time to write. You can get up before anyone else in your home is awake and you have that time. It could be that at night before you go to bed is your best time to write. It could be that writing on your lunch break is your best time to write. Just find what works for your schedule and what a best writing time looks like for you. So tip number 2 on fitting writing into your everyday life is to make it a priority. This tip kind of goes hand in hand with tip 1, which was to schedule time to write, but making it a priority is slightly different than scheduling a time to write, because let's face it, schedules don't always pan out the way they're supposed to. Oftentimes you'll find that you have to rearrange things in your schedule to fit in things that were unforeseen or things that came up, or to try to just make sure you have enough time for everything during the day. So one of the best ways you can make sure that you get a little bit of writing every day is to make it a priority. When you are looking over the things that you have scheduled and try to determine what you can keep and what you have to cut out, don't cut writing. If writing is really something that you want to do every day and you want to get better at, it will be a priority, and you will make a point not to cut it from your schedule when you have to start cutting down on things. So remember that next time you're looking at your schedule and you think, do I really need 15 minutes to sit down and practice my poetry? Do I really need 20 minutes to sit down and journal at the end of the day? If you're really wanting to incorporate writing into your everyday life, it's okay for you to say, yes, that is a priority to me and I do need that time. Tip number 3 for introducing writing into your everyday schedule is to change up your style or genre of writing. If you normally write fan fiction or fiction in general like I do, try writing a journal. Try keeping something that's considered nonfiction and something that's just very candid. Try writing poetry if you've never tried poetry, especially if the time that you set aside every day is kind of short and kind of small. Poetry is perfect for that. Poetry is also perfect for pairing with other things you do, such as going for walks outside or going to an art venue. Poetry is oftentimes stimulated by something else in your senses, such as sight or sound or taste. So don't be afraid of exploring poetry a little bit. I know poetry tends to kind of weird people out and they tend to not like it unless you have a natural knack for it, but poetry is an exciting way to try to spice up your everyday writing routine if you're finding yourself kind of stuck in a rut. So one of the things that I have to kind of encourage you to try poetry is to try free verse poetry, which means it doesn't have to rhyme, it doesn't have to have a rhythm scheme, and you can just write whatever comes to mind. and technically it's still poetry. Poetry is a very loose genre. A lot of people don't realize that. But try it out. Try something that's a little bit out of your comfort zone, a little bit out of what you would normally do, to try to mix up your routine and to try to bring some life back into your writing schedule. The fourth tip I have for introducing writing into your everyday schedule is to create a special writing place. Now, we're going to cover this more in our video later in the week, so I'm not going to get into huge details here, but it does help to have a special creating place. If you are a creative and you do something besides writing, you know this. You know that it helps to have a special place to paint, or a special place to sew, or a special place to sculpt. It just helps to have those places that are designed for whatever your creative process is, and that they have all of the items that you need there to inspire you and to help you along the way. So try and create a space just for you that caters to your creative outlet. Tip number 5 that I have for introducing writing into your everyday schedule is to find like-minded creators. And this seems kind of silly for writing, because oftentimes, unless you are writing something with somebody, it seems odd to want to surround yourself with other writers. But in reality, surrounding yourself with other writers is very, very inspiring and good and important. I was part of a writing circle for a little while, and we would actually bring exercises to our group where we would practice an exercise together, and then we would go around the circle and read what we had written out loud. Now, this seems a little silly because writers are not necessarily public speakers, but the truth is, reading your work out loud, especially reading it in front of other people, can introduce you to things that maybe are a little bit awry with your writing. And so that offers you a chance to bounce stuff off of other people and to see the creativity that other people have to offer. And even if you're not doing something like exchanging exercises, oftentimes just getting together with somebody else who's writing at the same time can offer you that little bit of support and that little bit of oomph to get your writing done that you need. Having a group of like-minded creators is also helpful when you find yourself stuck on a project. You can bounce ideas off of them, and you can talk them through different parts of what you're creating, and they'll understand. They'll understand what you're talking about. They'll understand what is going on in your story or in your work, and they can oftentimes help you kind of see your way out of whatever maze you've gotten caught in, because they understand your creative thing, whether it's painting or sculpting or writing oftentimes. And writing has a lot of nuances that oftentimes, if you are diving into a project head on by yourself for a long period of time, you can get lost in. And so having someone to bounce ideas off of and to work and to wrestle with stuff with is really, really helpful, and it can really help to inspire you to just push through and write a little bit more every day. All right, so those are my 5 tips for introducing writing into your everyday schedule, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you gleaned something from it. And I would like to take this moment to ask you to subscribe and ring that little bell so you can get updates every time I post a new video, which is every Tuesday and Friday. And I look forward to seeing what you create out there. Push through on your NaNoWriMo, and as always, thank you for watching, and I appreciate you and your time. Bye.